Honor students, we want to just congratulate you guys for doing a great job with the learning targets and for providing some feedback as to how we can improve things and make things better for you. Just a quick comment about learning. One of the things that sounds really weird about learning is that when you flounder or struggle, here's an article from Time Magazine, and there's been a couple others, educational research. When you have to struggle for something, and again, you don't get it right away, it actually helps you learn it deeper. And this is about a study that they did in Japan. It says, call it the learning paradox. The more you struggle and even fail while you're trying to master new information, the better you're likely to recall and apply that information later. The learning paradox is at the heart of productive failure, a phenomenon identified by Manu Kapoor, a researcher at the Learning Sciences Lab at the National Institute of Education in Singapore. Kapoor points out that while the model adopted by many teachers and employers while introducing others to new knowledge, providing lots of structure and guidance early on, modeling and so on, until students or workers show that they can do it on their own, makes intuitive sense. So it says that makes sense, but it may not be the best way to promote learning. Rather, it's better to let the neophytes, people that are new at things, wrestle with the material on their own for a while, refraining from giving them any assistance at the start. So this is really kind of an interesting thing. Singapore does really well in terms of their education. So if you felt like you're struggling, what that allows you to do, and you can Google this study, why floundering is good, would be good for you to read. I just summarized it really quickly, but it'd be really interesting for you to read. Just Google why floundering is good and Time Magazine. Anyway, so good to struggle a little bit. And then if you've ever had that, like once you've struggled with something and then someone does come or you can ask a question and you get it explained, it really gives you more of that, aha, oh, that makes sense now, I get it. All right, so again, we want you to struggle a little bit. We want you to construct meaning on your own rather than us just dumping information. Again, hoping that you're going to remember it or be able to apply it, more importantly. Some of the feedback that some of you guys gave in terms of what could you do differently was to read more than one source. And a lot of people said that I need to read more than the textbook. And if you notice on here, we did tell you don't have to read the textbook. You could read several other sources, but notice it does say on here for all of these, it says, and usually. So do this and. So we usually try to provide a video and a reading. And I know myself, I've told you guys this, when I'm looking at things, I will usually look at 3 or 4 different sources, maybe a video thrown in there, and just try to get a feel. You start off real basic. Maybe you take a peek at Wikipedia and look at just kind of the main meaning, the main idea, and then you add more meaning. You construct that meaning or that story. So it is good to look at how different textbooks have organized things. What headings are they using? That's something that can help you understand things a little bit better also. All right, and let's take a look then at learning target. One of the other things that you guys said is if you could just at least explain the learning targets a little bit more, that would be really, really helpful to us. And so the learning target number 6 is about George Washington's presidency, and George Washington is fascinating. Just amazing person to read, amazing to read about his, first him as a general and then him as a president. The word precedent, okay, not president, but precedents, means examples to be followed. They're not a law, but there's something that can be followed. And George Washington really took the presidency very important. He was the first president, with our U.S. Constitution, and so he knew how important it was going to be for him to set a good example, to be a role model. And so there are several different precedents that George Washington sets during his presidency that others follow. Every once in a while we get someone who doesn't follow it, and you can also look at that, which ones weren't followed. One of them, for example, is that he serves 2 terms in office. He doesn't want to continue to serve any longer. They certainly would have had him, but he says that that's enough. He didn't want to be like a king, and so he only serves 2 terms. So that's one of the examples to be followed that he set. Now you want to find out and see if you can find what are some other things or examples that he set during his presidency that were followed and that we still have today. All right, good luck with learning target number 6.